Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I want to show you guys a game that I played on stream recently where I went for a Rhino blender. Now, first things first, let's have a look at the techs that I run. I run Power Armor, Photon Coating, Whirlwind, and Final Blitz. I would consider these to be basically the most common, the standard techs, if you will. There is another option though, Mech Rage being the one main tech that you could consider running as well. It's very powerful, especially if you like playing blenders, but you have to take something off, and all of these do have a lot of uses. What you could do is take off Final Blitz, because Final Blitz doesn't work well with blenders, since you would be blowing up your own rhinos. But it is still a very powerful tech if you play single rhinos across the map. Same thing for Photon Coating. You could take off Photon Coating if you only like playing blender, and then rely on something like an Overlord to give your rhinos Photon. Again, this doesn't work that well if you want to play single rhinos across the map, because there it's just not possible to buy one Overlord for each rhino to give them Photon Coating. Things like Wreckage Recycling, I've seen some people take off Whirlwind, I've seen some people take off Power Armor. I don't like that specifically, but I mean, you can experiment. Wreckage Recycling is a fun tech. It's very cheap, so it can be very good, especially with higher level rhinos being offered in the free unit cards. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of up to preference and up to experimentation, I would say. That's all I wanted to say, so let's get into the game, and I'll see you guys over there. Alright, here we are. Let's have a look at the packs. All my packs are playable, quite good. My opponent has got marksman spec here is decent. You get a lot of different units that perform different jobs, so you'll be solid from the start. Speed spec is playable. Supply spec is probably one of the more solid ones. And heavy, I mean, all of these packs weren't that bad, to be honest. For me, I decided to go for the giant spec pack with Crawler Phoenix. And my opponent does go for the marksman spec, having storms and arc lights from the very start, so pretty much able to deal with any type of threat. Has got dedicated shaft clear, dedicated anti-air, and single target DPS, and has got something that helps thin out chaff and also deal good damage against single targets. So what do I decide to go for him? I know my opponent will buy only 2 chaff units, so I was debating whether I should buy an Arclight or 2. I end up buying 2 Arclights. I think what I probably should have done is buy 1 Arclight and 1 more Crawler pack, because I'm going to be pushing here, and I know my opponent only has money for 1 pack of chaff on each side. So really, all I need to deal with is 1 pack of chaff. I don't need 2 Arclights for that. And I probably don't want to buy more Arclights, especially considering what he already has. It's just not amazing. It doesn't scale that well with an aggro comp. I'll have to get something else to deal with chaff eventually. So that would have been my change. In round 1 here, I decided to put 1 Crawler pack behind the tower on the right. This is to delay this push, basically. Make sure that he doesn't get a quick tower with his crawlers. I put 1 chaff pack up front to be able to distract this Stormcaller, make sure he doesn't kill my Arclights. And 1 chaff pack a bit further back to arrive later on, hopefully when this Arclight has died. And it looks like that is what's going to be happening. I managed to snipe off the Arclight. And now we just have to make our way to the tower. The crawlers are doing a good job here, distracting all the storms. They didn't hit my Arclights, or at least my Arclights are still alive. And we take out the marksman. I can speed things up as we take a win in round 1. Nice play, I would say. Positioning was good. We managed to basically preempt everything and make our units do their job. So successful round 1 for me, and now we enter round number 2. So on round 2, Senior Manufacturing Specialist is offered. I am Giant Spec, so I pick it up. I had noticed that there was a 50 cost unit drop. However, I did not compute or realize that it was Wasp drop. I thought that it was Underground Threat. So what you'll see me do this round is buy 2 crawlers and put them behind the tower to hopefully delay and deal with an Underground Threat. But that wasn't offered. It's a Wasp spawn. So, yeah. This should have been Double Fang behind the tower, which would have also helped me protect against potential flanks from Phoenixes or whatever. This is just a misplay on my side. I decide to go for Jump Drive and put my Phoenixes on the corner here to try and kill this Arclight. It's a bit optimistic, I will say, because my opponent does fix the issue, did realize his Arclight got sniped immediately, even puts Double Fang behind the tower, probably because Wasp spawn was offered. And yeah, if I had realized this, I probably wouldn't have gone for this play either. This protects the tower adequately, I get double debuffed, it's a nightmare. Let's just try and forget about this round, basically. Look at the cards is the takeaway from that round, and try and act accordingly. Round 3 is where we get unit cards offered. This is not a great show of cards for me. Since I am Giant Spec, I can unlock all of these cards, the Giants, for free. So I get less value out of this. My opponent picks up the Vulcan. Hacker is the only one I guess I would get some value out of. But I don't think Hacker is that good on this board. And especially with what I currently am running, it just doesn't make much sense to me. So instead I pick up here, I think, the Vulcan. And I go for a cheeky play. Something that I usually never do. But I was kind of lost here. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really have a plan. I just felt like I was in a really rough spot. So I thought, you know what? Let's try and play in an unconventional way. Let's try and catch him off guard. See if it works. Get some cheeses going. And then maybe as the game develops, I'll get some ideas on how to deal with this. Maybe this will be successful and I'm able to build on this flank. I don't know, okay? I felt like a bit dejected here. I was like, oh man, he's got the fangs, he's got a good defensive comp. My opponent buys aerial spec already on his marksman, by the way, expecting Overlord, I guess. And also decent to help out against Phoenixes. I move my Phoenix on the flank. I should have put this guy in front of the Arclight to snipe it immediately. And I decide to put Vulcan, unlock an Overlord for free, put it there as well, put some crawlers, and yeah. Here we go. Left side will be rough because I moved most of my units away and it's just Arclights and crawlers versus this entire pack of units. Right side is obviously successful because that is just chaff and Arclights against 2 giants and level 2 Phoenix. I will get the tower, but this might not even be that good for me. The marksman having anti-air here is probably going to be a massive issue. Because they'll get up to 170 range and likely snipe my air units. Yeah, and the tower debuff makes it so that the Stormcallers and the marksman can actually deal with the crawlers first. And then now when it subsides, we have this massive issue. Yep. So marksman here, amazing value on the early tech and able to deal with my flank, which is not something I was very happy with, because that was, now he knows what I'm up to. I was hoping to catch him off guard and deal some decent damage, maybe even have the double giant stay alive, but none such thing, and instead I take a lot of damage. Now in round 4 we have multiple things being offered. There is junior manufacturing specialist, but I already do have senior, so I decided to pick up smoke bomb instead, because I thought to myself, if I can land it on the left side, it'll serve me for 2 rounds. And there's a high likelihood he doesn't shield the left side because I'm so weak, right? Like, I only have crawlers, phoenix, arcs. He probably expects me to build on this flank or like attack this side. And instead, I move away my phoenix, put it in the back a bit further, so that it can hopefully benefit from the smoke and deal some good damage against specifically something like the Vulcan. Here I unlock wasps, and I believe I pick up 3 packs of them. 1 here to be able to deal with a melter I was expecting, and also a missile I was expecting on the crawlers. So hopefully making sure that this Overlord can kill this on time. I do believe I moved this away. The reason why I decided to change my positioning on the Wasp was because if I leave it there, I think that if he missiled it, it would also splash onto the Overlord. And I decided to put 2 packs of Wasps on the left side. And so here you can see the Wasps are doing a good job at distracting. The smoke lands amazing. Melter still able to deal with all the Wasps and also take out my Vulcan, but the Overlord lives. The Overlord lives. And I'm able to kill his units on the left side. Okay, so we're stemming the bleeding and we're striking back. Nice job on the Wasps. However, we get another unit pack on round 5. And 4 Mustang show up for my opponent. So that deals with his Wasp problem immediately, as he takes AA instantly. I decide to pick up the Rhino, because I realize, hey, I know he's picking Mustang here. It's just 100% he's picking Mustang. Rhinos can be pretty good into all of this. They're good into Vulcan, they're good into Marksman, they're good into Stormcaller. If I give them Whirlwind, they'll be good as well against most of the chaff, against the Mustangs. And Blender can even deal quite well with something like Melters. So let's give that a shot. I purchased 2 more Rhinos, and I put the level 1 in front. The reason I did this was because in the long run, I didn't want something like a Melter to instantly lock onto my high level Rhino. Instead, I would like it to lock onto this guy and have my high level Rhino advance a bit further and then hopefully be able to deal more damage once we get to the tower. I go for power armor. I could have gone for whirlwind. I went for power armor because I thought that there's a chance that he missiles, expecting something like a Rhino push on this side because the Rhino was offered. And I wanted to get to the tower at all costs. But in hindsight, there was probably a good argument for whirlwind as well. Because I'm not going to be able to deal with all this chaff. Opponent double missiles my chaff. So gets insta-locks here on the... on the giants. My rhinos are dying. I do get through to the tower, but virtually everything is has died. Left side is still looking good, mostly because of the smoke, but that's a saving grace. I'm able to save myself some hit points. And yeah, I mean, right side, this melter is farming, about to be level 2 if my opponent decides to level it up, and that could spell some trouble. Back and forth game. And now I'm down to 1600. Orbital shows up. Really good. I could go redeployment here. And take my Overlord and put it over here. But instead I go for Orbital. I think it's a bit too good. The reason as well why I went for Power Armor and not Photon Coating was because I wanted to give Photon Coating to the Rhinos with an Overlord. Because I had them already unlocked. And here it's saving me money. Having to triple tech my Rhinos. I really wanted Whirlwind as well. So I'll probably be selling one of my units here. Wasp spawn is back. Yeah, I think I sold crawlers over here to be able to afford the whirlwind. I also take a loan, and I take the temporary speed, and I think I buy another wasp pack. Yep, there they are to help out with this advance. I do not deal with this wasp spawn at all. I just forgot about it. I'm not going to lie. My opponent also orbitals me. So here we go. I get to the tower this time. I basically have suddenly got triple tech rhinos, so it's making a big difference. We get in, we kill the big melter before I get debuffed, so that's good. The only problem is I now have to make my way all the way over from the right side to the left side. And yeah, when the melter can work with its range, it doesn't leave much opportunity for the rhino to do anything. So my opponent gets the win. 2 giants alive, so I'm about to take 1,000 damage here. Even more. And it sends me down to only 300 hit points. Oh boy. Wasp Swarm shows up again. I decided to pick it up here because I was worried my opponent might go for a similar play. My turrets are really weak here. I think I also like double missile on the sides because he could have put them, or he could wasp swarm on the flanks. And I decide to push in from the left side now. I buy double level 2 rhinos. I think I sell this overlord because it doesn't stand a chance. It's not doing anything. Shooting at crawlers, getting insta targeted by level 2 Mustang with double tech, by anti-air marksman. It's better to just sell in that situation. And that allows me to buy a level 2 overlord for this push. The reason why I do it in the corner and I don't do it from the middle is because I noticed that the Vulcan here didn't have a melter to protect it behind it. The melter is on the inside of the turret, and so I can probably get to the Vulcan, kill it, and get to the turret before this melter locks on, which is which should be good for me, right? Again, I'm loaning here, getting temporary speed. My opponent's still deciding to missile. And let's see how this goes. I mean, I can't lose any more rounds. So this has to work. This has to work. Yeah, so Melter does lock on, but we did get relatively close to the tower. And it's even able to spin there and get the tower debuff. And that allows this Rhino to do a bit more work while it was locked on by 3 Melters. Now we get in. My Overlords, my level 2 Phoenix are dealing with this level tower. And things are looking good for me here. Things are looking real good for me here. Nice. I strike back, and my opponent is now at 1500 hit points. This would be within kill range. Even though I am much lower in terms of health, on round 8, with giants on the board, with rhinos on the board, it's possible for me to deal this much damage. And so I'm treating this as the final round. Javelin was offered. I pick it up because I can get some good value out of it, and I don't think he'll be able to move out. I was expecting him to maybe take the Jav as well and have a Hail Mary, because if he hits it on either of these 2 groups, it's just going to delete most of the units, right? Like this Rhino can survive, this Rhino can barely survive, but it still would kill at least the overlords. But he didn't go for it. I also have smoke off cooldown, but it's being protected by a bubble. I buy oil from the tower to try and burn most of my opponent's chaff. I also take the incendiary on the Vulcan that's here to be able to just get as much fire on this side as possible. I push into the left tower, hoping that most of this stuff will die. I was hoping this would kill both of the melters, leaving, well, pretty much nothing on this side, and instead allowing me to focus over here. I do pick up 2 more rhinos, though, just in case something survives. I was hoping that this would arrive a bit later, and hopefully by the time that I get this debuff, so that these rhinos can do some damage and clean up, and not have my units have to walk all the way from the left side to the right side, where the debuff might already be gone, and the melters might be able to work some magic. So here we go. Tower debuff happens, and my rhinos do exactly what I was hoping them to do, arriving at the perfect time, getting rid of a melter, and working on the tower now as we walk in. Rhino not quite able to take out that level 2 melter, but I have enough units left on the other side of the board to kill it. And that is all she wrote. GG's. I was quite happy with this game. It's a game where I felt a bit lost at the start. I didn't really know what to do, so I went for some cheeky plays, some cheeses, see what sticks, basically. And eventually, I was giving some direction. I got the Rhino offer. I think my opponent also got a great pack, right? Got Mustangs for free, immediately allowing him to deal with the Wasp problem. But I was able to utilize the Rhino well. I also think there were some good plays here, recognizing that the Vulcan was alone for a round, pushing in from the left side, also recognizing that if I get this tower debuff, it doesn't mean I'll be able to deal with what's on the other side of the board. So I need to have something pushing there as well, even late, as you saw in the last round, to be able to clean up while I do get this tower debuff. Otherwise, I have to run over there after the debuff is gone, and it allows melters to just do their thing and get rid of my big units. So yeah, this was a cool game. I enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it too, feel free to leave a like. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all my latest content. Go and follow me on Twitch if you want to see me play live. And with that being said, I will say take care and bye-bye.